Good morning, welcome to another video. My name is Rob Newman. I am one of the partners at Carter, Collins and Meyer. We're a firm of accountants in North Manchester. We work with owner-managed businesses across the Northwest. I do a lot of general practice work with many different types of businesses, seeing all sorts of different stuff. And I also do some more complicated tax things around tax advice, forensic accounting and pre-insolvency work. I'm not an insolvency practitioner, but I do deal with a lot of clients who end up in that place, and that is largely the purpose of this morning's short video, together with advertising When the Wheels Come Off, my short book about insolvency and what to look out for when things go wrong. Now, the title of today's video is Everything Feels Great Until the Tax is Due. And that might make you think that it's tax related. Well, it's not, and it is at the same time. Tax often crystallizes something that goes wrong in a business. It's a consequence of trading. It has very fixed deadlines, and it suddenly turns up and presents you with a big bill. And I have done another video this month about how to manage that, about putting money aside. But in this purpose, for this video, it's more about an event happens. Something happens which makes the wheels fall off. So the event that, as I say, that happens on this is you suddenly get to the VAT quarter, you've got VAT to pay. They turn around and say you owe £10,000 and you go, oh my God, I've got nothing. How do I deal with this? Well, there's a range of reasons why that's happened, and there's a range of things you need to do in advance or afterwards. One of the first things I would say to you is don't panic. Actually talk to your accountant, talk to HMRC, come up with a plan together. HMRC don't want to close you down. It may feel like that, but they really don't. They want you in business, they want to keep you going, and my experience over the last nearly 30 years at this stage is if you talk to them, reach out and actually put something sensible together, they will work with you. If you have reached that quarter end and can't pay that VAT, or you have reached that year end and can't pay that corporation tax or personal tax or whichever tax event it actually is, or whichever bill it actually is, it means there's something else gone wrong in your business. And most fundamentally, the thing that will have gone wrong is you don't know where your business is at. You haven't kept records in a way that allows you to see what's going on. One of the strongest things you can actually do is weekly have your ins and outs. A list of everything that you have brought into that business and spent out of that business. You then want to have a look at your storeroom, your stockroom, your work in progress, or whatever it is that you do as an individual business. If you have loads of things happening that you haven't yet invoiced, you need to invoice it because you have what's called work in progress. For example, I might have 10 sets of accounts half done at the end of a quarter period. Those sets of accounts mean a lot to me because I've been doing them for the last month, but to the user of those accounts, they're pretty useless if they're not finished and they're not likely to pay me. So I have work in progress that I need to do and finish and has value and invoice out and collect the money on. But at this particular moment, I have no cash. And because I have no cash, I now can't pay my VAT. So that point of I've hit this problem, something has happened, I can't pay the tax, the wheels have fallen off, is an indication of something going wrong. And that something going wrong starts, as I say, with the ins and outs. It starts with what's in your stockroom. It starts with how much stuff are you throwing away? What are you getting rid of? Where is the profit going to? It can be quite illuminating when you start digging into this. I once did this in a very large Manchester law firm, and it turned out that they were spending nearly £250,000 a year on flowers for their meeting rooms. No, they weren't called Elton John, but they did also spend nearly another £500,000 on providing sandwiches for their meeting rooms, which nobody ever ate, and they were throwing them away, or the junior teams were coming and collecting their dinners from them. By cutting out those two things alone and rechanging them, the business went from being loss-making into profitability. Unfortunately, that particular law firm then went and did more stupidity and eventually blew up, but that's a different story for a different video. That's not just common amongst lawyers, and I'm not having a dig at lawyers. I love you all very much. It's common across so many businesses. The subscriptions that you're paying that you forget about, the things that you have forgotten that exist anymore, the stuff that you do. Indeed, I found that myself recently. I had a range of subscriptions that I was paying for that was costing almost £1,000 a month that frankly I was no longer using. That's £12,000 a year, which even at my profitability rate means I was having to do something like £100,000 of work in order to pay for stuff I didn't really even want. It's regular maintenance that's the key issue. And across all of my videos, I will say that same thing. Regular maintenance. Start with the bookkeeping. Do the basics. Get the basics, capture them, look at what you do, record what you do, look at it. I know it's boring. I know it's dull. I know you've got better things to do on a Sunday afternoon when the kids want you to play football. But find some space and time. People say to me, you've written 14 books in a year, how have you done it? Well, I've not written 14 books in a year. I've written 14 books over 30 years. I've just probably pulled them together in the last year. And how I did that was I took 1 hour every morning before the day began. I got up half an hour early and snatched half an hour out of the rest of the day. And I spent that hour just doing things. There's an old Chinese proverb that goes along the lines of an old man moves a mountain one pebble at a time. And essentially that's the same thing, be it writing a book or getting control of your finances. If you chip away and get one pebble done at a time, you can make massive inroads and you can stop the wheels falling off. Because if you see it coming, there's lots of things you can do. One of the key ones is always cost control. Cost control is existent in every business. And I can guarantee you, even if you are a small sole trader of just you are paying for things that you have forgotten that you're paying for that you don't need. And it might only be 20 quid a month, but that 20 quid a month would pay somebody like me as your accountant to look after your tax return for you, which means you no longer have to do it. It's juggling those resources. It's looking at things that are expensive to you as an individual. They may not be overall expensive, but are causing some difficulties to your company. Indeed, another practical example from myself, I looked at a piece of software we were using. Now, we use this software a lot, we use it heavily, and it is involved in our business. But I worked out that its competitor software that does exactly the same thing but doesn't have as sexy a brand name would actually save us £28,000 a year by moving to them. And my team are now in the process of moving to that software because £28,000 a year is a massive number. So what if you've already there and the wheels are maybe not off but loose? Well, as I say, reach out, talk to others, talk to your accountant, talk to the HMRC, talk to people around you. There's plenty of free clinics you can go to, there's plenty of Federation of Small Business events, there's lots of networking groups. I have my own views on some of those networking groups. I've ran networking groups for years, but what they do is give you a peer group, people to talk to, somebody to reach out for and discuss and compare and contrast. Social media is fantastic. I live on LinkedIn. I'm there all the time. And indeed, if you reach out to me through LinkedIn, I'd be delighted to guide you through that process. That's not a chargeable event. That may come later. It may turn into a piece of work. But believe me, my experience has been most business owners want to help other business owners. We're not all trying to just cut each other's throats, and particularly somebody in distress. Now, if the wheels have absolutely fallen off and you're facing a winding up petition, I would again urge you, have a look at my book. The Wheels Come Off, I will send to you as a PDF for free if you contact me through this video, or on Amazon for £7.99. It's a guide, a pre-insolvency guide to the process, because as much as there are some fantastic insolvency practitioners out there, there are some that are less generous to deal with. One of the key things that some firms undertake if your wheels have completely come off and you are really suffering and you can't pay that tax and you've nowhere to go and you don't know what to do is they will be your best friend until they're appointed. Because if your business has to go into some sort of insolvency process, some of the firms out there make their money on the post-appointment side of things. Indeed, even in the last week, I have had an accountant in the South contact me saying, they have a client who put their company into liquidation owing £35,000 to HMRC, and the insolvency practitioner has put a claim in for misfeasance against the individual director of 1.3 million. So what that means is the insolvency practitioner now wants the director personally to pay £1.3 million, whereas they started off owing £35,000. Which they couldn't pay. Now, my job is going to be to defend that director, and unfortunately, it's still going to cost more than the £35,000 itself was going to be to actually defend him, have lawyers, have accountants, have forensic accountants. But if we don't do that defence and don't find a way to finance that for him, he's facing a £1.3 million claim. And that is one of the key messages of this. If you are in a situation where everything was going great and then suddenly the wheels came off because you couldn't pay the tax bill, and you've spoken to somebody and you can't find a way through this right now, don't please go on Google and find that first insolvency practitioner at the top of it. Come and speak to your accountant, to me, to those who work around the industry to help you find the right practitioner to go into. There's lots of great ones out there, and there are some that are not so great. And people like myself who work in that business, who are not IPs, who are not looking to take appointments, will direct you towards those that we know will look after you more than suddenly put a £1.3 million claim on you. If you are going through it right now and it is absolutely a live issue for you, please do reach out to me. Please also make sure that you seek any other medical advice that you should have. If stress is happening to you, go and talk to your doctors. They're great nowadays for that kind of thing. Make sure that you eat, make sure that you sleep, drink plenty of water. I know that sounds trite. I know that sounds like it's minor stuff. But believe me, sleep, food, water, rest will allow you to get through and come out the other side to it. There is life after these things. I have a million stories of people that have gone through lots and lots of financial distress things. And if you look at some of the other videos, I even share my own story of how in 2008, I went from owning over 100 houses to sleeping on my mother-in-law's couch because of the actions of one of the major high street banks. If you are going through those, my name is Rob Newman. I am from Carter, Collins and Meyer. We are a firm of accountants, and I'd be delighted to talk to you.